Ryan Walsh here, and today I'm joined with a very special guest, Joey Chan, who is offering us an awesome perspective today. Okay, we all know there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle when it comes to putting a deal together for real estate, especially for flips. But often the perspective of a contractor is left out of the equation, even though they're the most important part of the whole flip. Okay, nothing can happen unless they can flip the house. So today, Joey, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Joey has been a contractor for the last 15 years, okay, and wanted to get what it's like from the contractor's perspective, so you know what they're looking for, what you're looking for, and how to start developing that relationship with them. So, Joey, my first question to you, just so everyone can kind of get to know you here, is what got you into being a contractor, and how's it been for the last 15 years? What's your story?
Well, basically, I started out actually as a kitchen designer before that, before I became a full-time contractor. So, so I learned the craft of designing kitchens, because originally I wanted to get into computers. Okay, so I had a friend of mine who was what we call a CKD, a certified kitchen designer, and he used to work at Home Depot. So he was making pretty good money at Home Depot designing kitchens. And, back in the early 2000s, that's when I was doing that. So he showed me how to basically design kitchens, talk to clients, basically become a good salesman without being a salesman. Yeah. So I learned a lot of that stuff from him. And then shortly after, I got recruited by a larger, actually a smaller firm, more boutique kitchen design shop.
Okay.
So I learned how to do project management and things like that from that shop. After that, I kind of went on my own, and my uncle was a carpenter for 40 years at that time, and he showed me a lot of how to do everything, how to cut, all the little tricks,
Okay, so you're learning the project management side of things, the how to do it side of things. So you throughout your story have been able to piece it all together.
Yeah.
To really run your own contracting business.
Correct.
And be successful. Okay.
Yeah, because my uncle, he didn't speak English, so he could not go out and get the clients and things like that. And because I had the connection from like Home Depot, and so I would go back there and talk to the kitchen designers that were working there at the time, and they they knew who I was because I would go to Home Depot all the time, to purchase things and kind of visit them and say, hey, how's it going? What are you guys working on? And they would tell me, hey, you're installing kitchens now and things like that. I said, yeah, of course. And then they say, hey, look, I have a client who's looking for an installer, and I would tell them, sure, send them my way. And then they would get a little bit of, a couple of dollars from that. Sure. So they kept the deals flowing for me.
Right, right.
So
good place to start.
That was a good start for me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting a pretty big break. I had a friend of mine who also used to work at Home Depot, and he was doing an addition on his house.
Okay.
And so basically, so he already knew who I was, and he actually gave me the opportunity to do an addition. So that really
without any experience on the additions?
Yes, without experience.
So he's gonna guide you through it.
Right. Well, he didn't really know either.
Okay.
But as far as how to do the addition and things like that. But he knew that I had some sort of experience as far as getting the jobs done. Yeah. Because he saw me doing all the kitchens, all the bathrooms. When I was when I was doing the smaller kitchens, in the bathrooms, he saw me do all those things. Okay. So he know we had a good crew.
Those are the two most important parts of selling a house: bathrooms and kitchens. So you couldn't have picked a better place to start, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it was definitely not intentional at all. To do that.
Well, hey, it's all starts, never really intentional, but you look back and you say, well, good thing that happened, right?
Yeah.
That's what got me to where I am. Yeah. So thank you for the background there. And now, to help our viewers here, to give you the perspective of what contractors, the mindset of a contractor. So I'm going to flip it around for a second here and say, what is it as a contractor that you like to see from whether it's a realtor or somebody saying, hey, I got a house I want to flip. Because, you're not going to just say yes to every single person who talks to you, right? So from a contracting perspective, what do you want to see? Like, what if somebody were to approach you, what do you like to see from them?
Well, I want to see that person is somewhat organized. So, and they have a sort of a plan of action.
Yeah. Right.
So, for example, if they present a house to me and let's say they want to partner up, I do JV deals.
Sure.
And quite a bit of them. Mostly all my deals are JV deals.
There you go. Joint venture for anyone.
Yeah, joint venture.
Yeah, JV. So you partner up with the contractor and they'll close the deal with you.
Yeah, and then so I'll come in. They will kind of present the idea to me. Kind of like we'll walk through and
physical walkthrough.
Yeah, physical walkthrough of the property.
Okay.
And then we'll do it together. I'll give them some ideas. Hey, let's knock this wall down. Let's add a bathroom here.
Yep.
Do different things. If it's a Cape Cod, for example, if we can add a dormer. But it all depends on the town too.
Sure.
Because some towns. It doesn't pay to do that. Some towns, like in Bergen County, for example, in Morris County, if you have a small Cape Cod and you want to add do an adder level, that's a great value add.
More so than other areas.
Yeah.
So it depends on the area. Yeah, very true, very true.
Yeah.
Now, when you're doing the walkthroughs and the talking, are you guys talking about budget yet and time yet, or is it more?
No, I think that's more. Yeah, it's a lot more brainstorming and just seeing the condition of the current house.
Yeah.
So if so I always look at what's the current house. Is it say pre-1980s, or is it pre-1950s?
Sure.
Two
different projects.
Definitely, because anything after 1980s, you're not gonna have to deal with like lead paint, things like that. No asbestos, things like that. So anything before that, you're gonna have to deal with those environmental issues.
Right.
That'll come up. And then if even older, in the 1960s and below, and prior, actually, I should say. You're gonna have to deal with like plastered walls.
Right.
Most likely you're gonna have steam heat in the house. Things like that, or oil. All those kind of small things.
So when you're walking through the house with the your partner or your investor, are you saying these things to them? And I call that out because I feel like it's very important. They are gonna rely on you to be calling that out. So if you're ever talking to a contractor and they're not saying anything when you're walking through a house, that's not a sign of a good communicative or contractor that can finish the project for you. So
so sometimes they could, but they're just not great communicators.
Yep.
So I also have a background in I was also a home inspector as well.
Yep.
Okay. So I was licensed as a home inspector all the way back in 2006.
Okay.
So I always walk through the house with that perspective as well.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking for things, the big ticket items, like I said, those environmental things, any asbestos, piping, things like that.
Well, maybe let's mention that. How much, if you do find that, kind of price? Like,
price
depends on the property.
it's a little more difficult to determine, but it can be very light. If it's just some, like let's say $1,500, and then it can, really like climb. So so you're talking like $10,000-$20,000.
Exactly, and I mentioned that because that $10,000-$20,000 does happen. I mean, we get people as a lender, people come to us and say, I think it's going to take $20,000 seems to be a magic number when it comes to rehabs. We think it's going to take $20,000.
Yeah.
And all it takes is that one issue and you just doubled your budget.
Right.
So I only mention that because you need to prepare for that and realize that almost nothing's $20,000 when it comes to a project because things like that come up. Right. So I guess what I'm leaning with that is, at what point do you start talking budget with your customer there?
We usually do a quick review towards the end of the walkthrough.
Okay.
So we'll walk through and then we'll say, hey, we're gonna put, let's say, $10,000 for the kitchen, another $5,000 for the bathrooms. another 10,000 for all the floors, another 5,000 to paint the house.
Yep.
So we'll usually start coming up with budgets at that time.
Yeah, and those are all roughly accurate numbers. So again, that 20,000 number, I can guarantee you it's low. Yeah. You're gonna be, if you add all those up, you're already at 40,000, right? And that's just standard. That's no issues yet.
Right. Yeah, that's without running into issues, making structural changes, things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, of all the jobs you've done, I mean, what would you say? I mean, half of them you're going to be looking at some issue. You're going to say all of them you're looking at some issue.
I don't think I've ever honestly done a house with no issues at all. I mean, you're always going to run into some issue, whether it be minor or a few thousand here and there.
Yep.
So yeah.
So do you budget that in as the contractor, or does the investor have to do that?
The investor always have to give themselves a small cushion. I would say, give yourself a good 10% cushion. Things always do come up no matter what, but at least you have some extra money put aside to deal with it.
Would you say it's, if the house is older, more cushion?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, for example, we like this house, we had to deal with the chimney, which originally we didn't have any budget for the chimney.
Okay.
So we had some like code issues that we had to upgrade for the chimney.
Yep.
Because we understand that buyers in this town is very particular.
Okay.
So they're gonna
township
come.
To township.
Yeah, it really is. So they're gonna come. They're gonna, especially their home inspectors. So the home inspector is gonna nitpick everything. So we're not so concerned with the homeowners, the buyers, but it's more the home inspectors we're more concerned because they're the ones that are gonna raise the issues.
Yeah, right. Tack on to the budget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's basically a strategy up to you, where we're gonna ignore that item and let's see if they catch it. If they catch it, then we'll either give them a credit or we'll fix it.
Sure.
So that I think a lot of home improvement, not home improvement guys, but what's the word I'm looking for?
Rehabs, flips.
Yeah, flippers.
Yeah.
That they subscribe to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I guess just a question, a little in particular for housing here. Right. Kind of hinted at it before because I know what we look at as lenders.
Yeah.
But if you would say where you want to put most of your money when you're doing a full flip, so talking to a new flipper, right?
Right.
Where would you suggest they allocate the most budget to?
I would say they would want to concentrate on two things, okay? The exterior appeal of the house, because that's the first thing you're going to see. So is the house appealing?
Yes.
Okay. And then second thing is the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
The kitchen for sure. And then if you have a chance, if you have a master bath, so I'm going to make it three things.
Okay.
Right? So if you have a master bath, make that like, a place where they're going to want to sit and enjoy. As much as possible.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, from a lender's perspective, that's it. Kitchen, bathroom, and the exterior. That's a good point. I guess we don't think about that as much because we just assume it's going to look okay. But you're right. That is something you have to consider, right?
Right.
So I think all three of those are very fair.
Curb appeal is a huge thing.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So Joey, something we were talking about earlier. And I want to make sure we get this across as a contractor. What is really important that because you as you only have one set of hands, right? So you're going to need to hire people to come in and help you do a job.
Yeah.
Right. So whether it's the architect or the carpenter, whatever it is, what is it that you are looking for from them to bring them on to your team? And I ask that because there's people that aren't contractors, but they're going to be looking to do the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. So what I usually look for, I'm looking for guys that are going to be honest with you. You don't know that for a fact, but guys that seem honest, right? And guys that seem like they know what they're doing. Meaning, you don't have to tell them everything, but during the walkthrough, they can tell you what's going on. Hey, the plumbing, something's wrong here. Things like that. But there's a fine line of that as well, because there are guys just trying to upsell you versus guys that are telling you, hey, you absolutely need to do this because
Yeah.
it needs to be brought up to code, for example.
Right, is that?
So you kind of have to see that, you know. So it's something where you're gonna learn that over time. You can't really see it in one going, you know. So like, for example, if this is your first walkthrough with, say, a plumber or electrician, you know, you're gonna kind of have to rely on them to tell you what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be updated.
Yeah.
You know, more so. But you're probably gonna be able to tell them the cosmetic stuff, but you know, you won't be able to talk code and things like that with them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a bit of trial and error. It's a
really
hard. It's hard to find one, which is why when you get a good one, like you never let go.
Them, right?
Yeah.
You keep them,
And in fact, it's why it's hard to get referrals from people, because it's like, well, I don't want to get my contractor, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows hard money lenders. We don't give out contractors. We don't do that because our borrowers would kill us. But since you're watching this video, this is the exception. Okay, we are giving you a recommendation. Okay, Joey's amazing.
Thank you.
Highly recommend him. But that is it. I mean, word of mouth, right? Go to networking events. You're going to see Joey there. He goes to all of them if you haven't seen him already.
So I run the NJ RIA along with Nick Tang and Elijah Barber. So, you know, you'll see us on all our NJ RIA meetups.
Yeah, absolutely check these out. I go every week to them. Not even trying to be a selling guru for them because I don't get anything for this. Yeah. They're just awesome events. They really are. They get great people, great networking. Highly recommend it. So definitely check out NJ RIA events for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that is word, like that's how contractors make a living, I think, in terms of the good ones. Like it's just word of mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do only word of mouth. I don't do any print advertising, anything like that. So everything's through word of mouth.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So Joey, thank you for all this info.
Thank you.
I know this is going to be incredibly valuable to our viewers, especially ones, you know, saying, what do I do with contractors? Because it's probably the scariest part of starting a flip, right?
It is. Even myself, you know, as a contractor, as a investor, you know, I go into these projects thinking, hey, will I be able to do it with my own crew? Because we have only so much capability. You know, we can only do so much. So many projects.
Absolutely.
So, you know, once you understand you hit that limit, now you have to go out and, you know, hire these subcontractors for you. And, you know, that's kind of the trick, you know. Do you hire someone that's reliable? You know, is it based on price? Is it based on honesty? You know, so all that stuff you have to kind of juggle in your head, you know. So you never really know a person until you actually work with them.
Yeah, you got to try it at least once. Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So Joey, if people are looking for contractors right now, how do they get in touch with you to hear from you?
Yeah. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You know, you can email me, you can call me. My phone number is 973-671-8884. That's my cell. So yeah, that's how you get in touch with me.
Cool. Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Of course.